Hey folks, how's it going? This is Matt with Downrange Firearms Training. Bringing you a quick video today. We're going to highlight a couple of different defensive carry pistols. A lot of pistols that people may or may not be carrying around on them these days, or may consider one of the top defensive firearms in the market. Rob Pincus from ICE Training put a bracket for March Madness on the ICE Training Facebook page last week, and we kind of went with the concept, and we're going to make our own little March Madness Sweet 16 face-off. A couple of guns that we have here in the face-off. We got a Glock 19 versus a Walther PPS, a CARACAL 9mm versus an HK USP40, a Colt Mustang, or for all intents and purposes could be a SIG 238 versus a Smith & Wesson Model 60, a Smith & Wesson M&P 40 Compact versus a SIG 239 and 9, Springfield Armory TRP 1911, yes, that is my 1911, a SIG 226 and 9mm, a Smith & Wesson M&P 9, XDM and 40, a Ruger LCR and 38 Special, a CAR PM 9, Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, and a Ruger SR 9. A lot of folks may say, well, hey, you know what, some of those matchups really aren't fair. Well, if you think about how March Madness works in college basketball, there are a lot of Cinderella stories, and a lot of the underdogs do end up winning in the end. So we're going to put the guns through their paces, see what happens. We're going to use some drills from the combat-focused shooting curriculum, including a balance of speed and precision drill, a few different up drills, and basically see which gun comes out in the end. We'll go through the bracket. We'll show you guys how the bracket progresses, and you guys can pick which gun you think may win and see how it comes out in the end. We'll explain why each gun won its individual division, and then what brought us to the final conclusion of which gun we think would win in this defensive caliber, defensive firearm type shoot-off. Alright guys, so to keep things uniform today and to make sure nobody thinks that we swayed anything one way or the other, we're going to be using the ICE balance of speed and precision targets for the drills we're going to do. All of the drills are going to start from and return to the high compressed ready. We're going to be using the balance of speed and precision drills and a few different up and up multiple drills to basically pit each gun against each other. We're going to start off with Ian. I got Ian and Fancy Ralph here today. We're going to be using the Glock 19 versus the Walther PPS as the first matchup. And for this matchup, everything's fine, double action striker fired guns, but when we do get into some of the other guns like the SIGs, the HKs, the 1911s, we will be using those the way you would present them from the holster, which would be decock, safety on, double action, or safety on, single action in the case of the 1911. So we're going to be starting from the high compress ready, but the guns will be in the condition that you would take them from your holster if you were to draw and engage a target. Up! Up! Four. Up! 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 Two. Up! Up! Four. Up. Headshot. Alright guys, so we're moving on to our second stage here of March Madness. The Sweet 16 is over with the first 16 defensive handguns that we have. We're now moving on to the Elite 8. I talked about some of the winners and exactly what happened. So first up we had the Glock 19 versus the Walther PPS. Glock won out because of the fact that A, round count, and B, it's just a much better platform as far as manipulation. The trigger guard magazine release on the Walther doesn't really aid well in its magazine release capabilities for a reload, and the fact it's a single stack and limited round count. The next matchup was the CARACAL versus the HK USP40. Both great guns in my opinion. The only downfall of the HK was the fact that it is the single action, double action, and the gun did have to be decocked, safety on each and every single time it returned to the high compress ready, therefore making it a less efficient pistol for faster follow-up shots as versus the just straight up double action striker fired CARACAL. The next matchup was the Smith & Wesson Model 60 versus the Colt Mustang, or it could be equivalent to a SIG 238 these days. The Smith & Wesson 60 won out. Even though the round count is limited by 1 round, it's a lot easier to get that gun up in the fight because of the fact that you're not working against the single action safety as opposed to on the Colt Mustang. It was very hard for me to manipulate, and in all reality, the 38 Special, in my eyes, is a much more venerable round versus the 380 ACP. The next matchup was the Smith & Wesson M&P 40 Compact versus a SIG 239 and 9mm. The Smith & Wesson 40 Compact won out because of the fact that double stack gun, you're going to get twice as many rounds in that gun as you would in the SIG 239. Also, again, the SIG brings back the fact that it was the double action with the decocker. We had to decock each and every single time we returned to the high compressed ready, therefore making it a little bit less efficient as opposed to the double action striker fired gun. Next battle was the SIG 226 and 9mm versus Springfield TRP Operator and 45 1911 platform. I really don't have to say much more about that one. 1911 single action gun, safety on and off each and every single time, plus the grip safety on that gun made it a lot harder to manipulate. Plus the fact that if you're going to watch the video, you're going to realize that I had to reload 3 times to the SIG's 1 magazine. Very limited round count, and therefore is not one of the best fighting pistols out there. The next matchup was the Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm versus the Springfield XDM and 40. That one could have gone either way. However, the fact that the 9mm and the M&P did give us 1 more round, so there were 2 reloads. I'm sorry, there wasn't 2 reloads. There was 1 more round in the magazine, therefore a little bit higher magazine capacity. 9mm, a little bit easier to get back up on target for follow-up shots as opposed to the flip from the 40 cal. And the fact that the XDM does have that grip safety, which if not engaged, and during dynamic critical incident and critical incident stress, you may forget to grab that gun as hard as you can to defeat that grip safety, therefore made the M&P move on. The next was the CAR PM9 versus the Ruger LCR. PM9, double action striker fire gun, again, no safety manipulate on it, higher round count in the LCR, a lot easier to reload, get back up in the fight, and a lot easier to control. And then the Ruger SR9 versus the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. I had a lot of trouble manipulating that safety on that Bodyguard, getting it back and forth into the fight, coming into and out of the high compressed ready. Obviously, you're talking about 6-in-1 rounds of 380 versus 17-in-1 rounds of 9mm. Clear winner in that one. So we're going to go to the Elite 8 and see what happens from here. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. We had a lot of fun making it. For more informative videos, check us out on the web, drftraining.com. Find us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you guys like some of the drills you saw today, they are from the Combat Focus Shooting curriculum. To find out more about Combat Focus Shooting, visit them on the web, combatfocusshooting.com or icetraining.us. And always remember, only hits count.